Who doesn't love a delicious strawberry donut? I know I do. Today, let me show you how I made these delicious strawberry donuts with homemade whipping cream, lots of strawberries, delicious strawberry sauce, and topped with some powdered sugar. You're going to totally love these donuts. That I can promise you. In the bowl of my stand mixer, I'm adding in 1 cup of warm milk. Your milk must be between 110 to 115 degrees. If not, your yeast will not activate. Adding 2¼ teaspoon of active dry yeast and 4 tablespoons of sugar. I'm going to whisk this, and I'm going to wait for the yeast to activate, which will take from 5 to 10 minutes. Now that my yeast has activated, it took 5 minutes. I'm adding in 1 large egg, and this is at room temperature. 1 teaspoon of salt. And here I have 2½ cups of bread flour. I like to use bread flour in this recipe. If you don't have it, you can definitely use all-purpose flour. And with my dough hook, I am going to knead this on low for 5 minutes, just until it all comes together. And if you do not have a stand mixer, you can totally do this by hand. And once it has all come together like this, I'm adding in 2½ tablespoons of unsalted butter, and make sure that it is at room temperature. I'm going to continue to knead this for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, your dough should be ready, and it should not stick to the sides of your bowl. If it does in the process of kneading it, you will need to just add little bits of flour until it doesn't stick to the sides of the bowl. And now I'm just going to remove it from my bowl. This is the consistency that you need your dough. So it doesn't stick at all, and it's nice and soft. And now I'm just going to form it into a ball. And what I'm doing is just turning it and then tucking it. I'm turning it with this hand and tucking it in with this one. Just like that. I'm going to add olive oil to my bowl. I'm going to place my dough ball in there and just dab on some oil on top. I'm covering it with some saran wrap. And now this is going to go into a warm spot. This has to double its size. It's going to take between 1 hour to 1 hour and a half. And depending on the temperature in your house, it could take up to 2 hours. So this is going to go into the warm spot, and we'll see you back. And as you can see, my dough has already doubled its size. Now I'm just going to punch down. Now I'm going to be removing it from my bowl and just going to place it on my work surface. Now I'm going to be cutting it into 8 equal pieces. This recipe will get you 8 donuts, and I will be using my scale to make sure that they all weigh the same. I weighed them all to be about 80 grams each, and now I'm going to be just forming them into dough balls. And the way I'll be doing this, first making sure that there's no air bubbles, and then kneading in my hand, and then just forming a ball, and then rolling it on my surface. And what you want to make sure is that the top of this is as smooth as possible. Now I'll just be placing these on a baking sheet that is lined with parchment paper. Here I have my baking sheet, and I have pre-cut some pieces of parchment paper into squares. So what I will be doing is just putting the squares here. And I'll be placing one dough ball on one piece of paper. I'm going to cover these with plastic wrap. And I'm going to place these back into the warm spot. These are going to have to double their size for 30 minutes to about 1 hour. I would say at 30 minutes, check. And if they have doubled their size, then you're good to go. If not, you can wait longer. It could take up to 1 hour. And as you can see, these have doubled their size. They are nice and pillowy. I have my pot with some vegetable oil on the stove, and I'm bringing that to the proper temperature of 340 degrees Fahrenheit. Once I get it to that temperature, I'm going to start dropping these babies in there. We're going to fry them up, and soon we'll be able to enjoy us some delicious strawberry donuts. Once my oil has reached the proper temperature, I'm going to start dropping the dough balls on here, the dough balls with the parchment paper. You want to fry these for 2 minutes per side. After about 30 seconds, I'm going to be removing the parchment paper and just continue to fry these. Once they're done, I'll be placing them on a wire rack to drain the oil. And then I'll just continue with the rest. And here's my last one, and now I'm just going to leave them on the rack to cool. While the donuts are cooling, let's make the whipped cream. For this, you're going to get your bowl, whatever bowl that you're going to use, and get the attachment that you're going to use also. Place this in the freezer for at least 10 to 20 minutes. These have to be super cold in order to achieve a nice whipped cream. The ingredients that I'll be using for the whipped cream, this is 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. This is very cold whipping cream. This is 4 tablespoons of powdered sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And to stabilize the whipping cream, I like to add pudding. Here I have 1 tablespoon of strawberry pudding. This has now chilled, so now it's time to start whipping the cream. I'm going to add all the ingredients into the bowl. Now I'm going to start whisking this until I form soft peaks. This whipped cream is ready. The donuts have now cooled. I will be slicing these in half. I added my whipped cream to a pastry bag, and I'm using a Wilton Tip 1M, and I'm just going to add the whipping cream, the strawberries, top it off with more whipping cream, and that delicious homemade strawberry sauce. That's optional, but I can guarantee you it'll make these donuts super delicious. Finishing these off with some powdered sugar, and these delicious strawberry donuts are ready to enjoy. And that is it. That is my recipe on how to make these delicious strawberry donuts. They are really, truly a treat. And now let's try our delicious strawberry donuts that we just took our precious time making. You know it's going to be good. The powdered sugar, the whipped cream, the strawberries. And it smells so good. Enjoy. All I can say is, wow, these donuts are super amazing and super delicious.